Welcome, Earthlings! From the minds of Dylan Oltoft and Rob the Piano, we bring you Laughing on a Thread!
Alfred, are my tights out of the wash yet?
Mr. Wayne, I'm afraid that your stockings are still drying on the banister.
Alfred, that's not good enough. I have to fight fucking crime in tights. God forbid I get any fucking body armor.
Well, Mr. Wayne, I must say that your thighs definitely pop within the tights. Body armor definitely shrouds your hot, steely body.
You know what, Alfred? I'm sick of your shit. You've raised me since I was 8 years old, and you've never made my cucumber sandwiches right.
Yes.
You always cut it down the middle when you know I like fucking triangles.
Well, yes, because your parents were too retarded to wear body armor out to the theater, Mr. Wayne. I'm sure you must remember.
You know what I really appreciate, Alfred? If every...
Mr. Wayne, I believe you are having a psychotic breakdown. May I implore you to visit Arkham Asylum to seek medical help?
Alfred, why are you being so serious?
I am being so serious, Mr. Wayne, because I care about your health.
I've got to ask,
Unlike
which
your
Alfred
parents.
are you doing? Please tell me you're doing Jeremy Irons.
Yep. Yep. No, 100%. Well, no.
Or I could have kept that voice go. Fuck.
Wait, hold on. No, Jeremy Irons never played Uncle Ben.
We've both seen all of their deaths 100 times, haven't we?
What Jeremy Irons did? Oh, I've seen one of Jeremy Irons.
I haven't seen his death, but there can only ever be really one Alfred.
Yes. Alfred Hitchcock. One of the greatest film directors of all time.
I don't know, did you like... Okay, quick thing. I don't give a shit about any of the previous Alfreds. Michael Caine or Jeremy Irons Alfred. Be fair, Michael Caine got 3 fucking films, and Jeremy Irons has gotten one film that's forgotten and 1 film that's coming.
Oh, you sweet summer child. It's obviously Ralph Fiennes from Lego Batman.
Damn you! That's not fair. The animated... There's 9,000 animated Batmans. Like, I'll go with the Alfred from Under the Red Hood then. Give me a live action.
Okay,
Fuck you.
Michael Caine. Michael Caine.
Really?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Wayne. I'm Harry Brown.
Mate, Harry Brown is a fucking sick film.
I'm not dissing it. I'm just saying Alfred...
Harry Brown is Gran Torino if Gran Torino had testicles.
I much more believed Alfred Hitchcock was like ex-MI5. A lot more than I ever believed like Michael Caine was.
Wait, what? Alfred Hitchcock?
No, Alfred from Batman is...
You just said Alfred Hitchcock.
Fuck my life. Alfred from Batman is like is former special forces, former MI5. Did you really believe fucking like Near was that?
Yeah, I can, because Michael Caine was literally infantryman.
Really?
He was a literal infantryman in the Korean War. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. That's why he got.
I see it a lot more in the fucking. I forget names in the span of a fucking second, and it pisses my sentences off.
Yeah, me too. But at least it means
Jeremy
I
Irons.
can forget Jeremy Irons.
Maybe it's because of the different outfits they put him in or something. But Jeremy Irons seems a lot more like someone you'd think was ex-serviceman.
I like Michael Caine because Michael Caine has a little bit of sass to him.
Oh come on, Jeremy Irons would give Batfleck shit.
Yeah, but I think Batman Begins when he's coming back from his training in the mountains, and they said you could take you take the rolls if you like, just bring it back with a full tank.
Yeah, but what about? I hope the next generation of Waynes won't inherit an empty wine cellar. Not that there'll be a next generation of Waynes.
But also in the Dark Knight, when there's the setup line, the Chekhov line of it's like, well, there's the I know how much you'd hate for you to tell me so, and then eventually it happened, and then he says, like, even on that day, I won't to, I won't want to. But then, but then it happens in the Dark Knight. He said, "But I do bloody tell you." And so it's like, mate, it's a great Chekhov's gun. Like, come on.
But I also really love when it's like, and the thing before, the most thing we'd have to worry about was wind-up penguins.
Yeah.
Like that little bit. I love that little bit of world building as well. Hello there, everyone, and welcome.
Oh man, Danny DeVito is the Penguin.
We'll get there.
We will get there.
We got to do the fucking standard generic intro shit. Hello there, everyone. Welcome to the
Holy fuck, we're just starting that?
Yeah, we're 5 minutes
5
in.
minutes.
We get so lost in our own bullshit. Welcome to the episode of Laughing on a Prayer. We promised you a Batman-only episode, and as you've guessed, me and Rob are insanely... Oh, who are you? I only say...
I'm Batman.
I only
Come
ever
on.
say this on the context that this might be someone's first observation of our podcast. So who are you?
I'm Batman. You set yourself up for that one.
I did.
Yes.
I am Dylan Altoft and I have Rob McNabb here. We are both Batman veterans.
Are we?
Yes, we are, ranging from Adam West all the way up to Batterson, you could agree.
Yeah.
You know the Adam West Batman, and of course you know Val
I
Kilmer.
do. Yeah, I know them personally, actually.
Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George...
I know them personally, yeah.
George
'cause-
Clooney, going on to Christian Bale, going on to Batfleck, and now Batterson.
Oh, Batterson, yeah.
And as well as the vast range of animated Batman products as well.
Which we shall certainly go into.
From the original animated Batman show all the way up to what you... the fucking Lego Batman.
The Killing Joke.
I don't think there'll be
did you not like The Killing Joke? We will talk about this.
We will talk about this because I have too much to say about
this. Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for the long run on this one. This is
I really
gonna
want this to
a
be
long
more...
job, and we are gonna delve into every little nitty gritty detail that exists within what's it, the Batverse.
I really want to
universe?
make this a lot more Batman focused than Joker focused because I almost feel like Joker could get his own episode.
Oh yeah, no, we're definitely gonna do that, but we can still get into it.
Yes,
real hard.
It'd be naive to talk about
hot.
Batman without the Joker.
It's gonna become hot. It's gonna become heavy.
It's gonna be steamy.
Yeah, it might even be a little bit painful.
Well, break out the Bat Lube.
Yeah, is that the bloob?
So, listeners, you might be interested to hear that before we started this episode, I showed Robert McNabb
his penis.
Yes, and I will keep it on the table until you acknowledge it. So, like we've infamously told in the Laughing on a Prayer canon, yes, there's a canon, we of course record these naked. So, of course, that is always on show.
Yeah. Not for you, though. You got to pay for that. We haven't started up our OnlyFans yet, but it's coming.
Apparently, because of the pandemic, that is more saturated than ever. Like, more saturated than the podcast market itself.
Yeah, but the difference between those people and us is that we have no self-esteem.
Yeah. Every asshole with an iPhone now thinks their cameras taking a picture of their butthole can now pay their rent.
I mean, 20 quid's 20 quid, mate.
If you pay money for naked pictures, not videos, pictures on OnlyFans, you should not have financial independence.
Wait, you can't put videos on OnlyFans?
You can, but
okay. Phew,
but that's the thing. Like, if you're only paying for pictures, you shouldn't have money. Go look at porn.
Yeah, it's like you can get that shit for free.
Exactly.
You can get that and more for free.
I'm more forgiving of the videos, but if you're paying for naked pictures, fuck you.
Exactly.
But anyway, as I was saying, before this episode started, I showed Rob McNabb, who hadn't seen it previously, the trailer to the upcoming Snyder Cut of the Batman Justice League movie, where we got a sneak peek at the brand new incarnation of the Jared Leto Joker. Now, Rob, what were your initial reactions to that?
My initial reactions to that, I will say, were I'll be honest, kind of
Seems so constipated.
apprehensive. Yeah, kind of apprehensive. Jared Leto is back. He is quite infamously known as, one of the worst Jokers that have ever disgraced the screen.
From the infamous Suicide Squad.
Yeah. We know the contexts, I guess, of which he managed to worm his way back into this franchise because he complained too much that Joaquin Phoenix did a better performance than him, which
he did.
Which he did. This is a fact. I follow the science. I know this is true. They've changed a couple of things with him. They've taken off his tattoos because no one likes to be punched in the face constantly with obvious sort of symbolism, because people don't like being punched in the face in the first place.
Do you feel that's a good move, getting rid of his tattoos?
I think yes, but there would be better moves just not being him in there. We know from kind of behind the scenes things that Jared Leto is a bit of a prick. I do not know why. Sorry, let me rephrase. I have an idea why they have brought him back, and I think it's probably mostly related to the success they had from the advertisements of Suicide Squad, which is that they milked the Joker in the trailer and then they disappointed us all, because we know that everyone's going to go and see the film anyway. I personally, and this will sound harsh, I do not have high hopes for Jared Leto in this Zack Snyder cut. I will most probably look at the reviews from others about the film before I watch the film. I don't think I'm going to watch the film. I don't think I have...
You're not going to subscribe to HBO Max just to watch it?
No, I'm not going to suffer through that before other people have suffered through that. I do not have to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun those who are trying to outrun the bear.
How does the movie make its money back if you're placing it on a streaming service? Obviously, a movie with $1 million budgets made their money back from ticket sales and box office and all that. How do they make the money back from putting it on a streaming service?
It's from the subscription. You have to subscribe.
No way that covers it. Like, if this is going to be the nature of cinema, while we are like... Disney tried that with the Mulan movie, and we never got statistics on how much that movie made for them.
I've seen that film, and it's terrible. But the issue is, I think the point is that if you get enough people subscribing for a certain amount of time, so you'll have like a limit, so you'll have like a minimum subscribe limit. People will subscribe, you'll make your money off that.
Well, let's do a little bit.
A lot of it is also the fact that a lot of it's already filmed. So they probably haven't filmed like all of it. They've added scenes in for sure, but they've probably sort of tinkered with certain scenes. They've kind of changed certain scenes, but essentially it's the same film. I mean,
would you say this is a movie you'd show kids, like a Marvel movie? I know Zack Snyder's a bit darker, but would you say you take your kids to this movie?
Well, yeah, probably. I mean, it doesn't look like it's like a sort of hugely inappropriate film for kids.
So let's go off that. Say a family of 4 would have seen this at the cinema. That's still like maybe, let's be generous and say $9. I'm going by America here. $9 for both adults, maybe $6 for the 2 kids. And if someone's bought this off the streaming, that's just the $8 or $9 a month for HBO and total for all of them. So that's what I'm saying here. Like, there's no way streaming can make up what you get at the cinema.
Well, no, but they're trying to make the most out of what they can get.
But by that logic, surely we're eventually, if this doesn't change, we're going to no longer see $1 million budget movies anymore. Because if the movie
Well, it's
has
in
no chance of
billions.
making that money back, no one's going to fund it.
Well, yeah, but the makers are trying to get as much money out of it as they can.
Exactly. So surely putting it on a streaming service is the worst. I know you can't put it in the cinema.
Well, yeah, exactly. So what's their other alternative?
Well, every other studio has been pushing back movies, haven't they? Like
But-
that's why we haven't seen the Scarlet, the Black Widow movie yet,
Yeah,
because
but
that's
would
been
you-
pushed back until cinemas can be open.
Would you say so the people that are putting out the Zack Snyder Justice League thing? What would you do that would make them make more money?
I'm not sure, but my question is, do you think those that will subscribe to HBO to see this movie are going to stay on HBO?
Well, probably not. But like,
Then how have HBO made any money?
Well,
Because
yeah,
you can watch it on a free
yeah,
trial.
okay, fine. But like, is there a better solution for them to make as much money as they can?
I personally
not.
don't know.
I don't think there is. I think that I know that they're probably going to lose money. They're going to lose money, but it's the best thing they can do at this point.
Well, it was the internet that bitched for this Snyder Cut in the first place, wasn't it? It's interesting enough how we can now create that effect. Like, not just with the Snyder Cut, we also got the Sonic movie remade as well. Like, the internet kind of has a voice
Oh yeah.
on how we affect film. So if they
And in a way, that's kind of that. Depending on what side you're on, that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
I would honestly, given my pessimism, say it's a bad thing because trolls exist and there are always more assholes in the world than there are good people.
Yeah.
So assholes will always, if they think they can, ruin films for good people.
And people will always be arseholes, especially when there's no consequences for them. to
Like
be
Batman.
arseholes. Yeah.
No consequences for him, he's a vigilante.
He's also rich as fuck. Anyway, so
How do you think Batman's villains think, like, as the Penguin or the Riddler, two very smart thing, like, okay, whoever Batman is clearly has access to technological advancements, like, they must narrow down of rich people.
yeah, it depends also like what sort of
Because no one seems to figure
Like,
out that
yeah.
Batman's rich.
yeah, it's also like the Nolan thing. You know, the Nolan films. It's like, oh look, Batman's got access to this specific military vehicle that Wayne Enterprises happens to build.
You know that.
I don't know where that guy comes from, or who that guy's related to.
When he gave that thing to the kid that played Joffrey on Game of Thrones, you know that's
Jack
Wayne
Gleason.
Enterprises on it.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've got a question for you.
Right.
I've got a question for you. So Batman, he's had a lot of renditions of his Batsuit.
Yes.
His Batsuit.
Yeah.
Which is your favourite Batsuit?
Oh, right.
Like either like sort of how it, basically how it looks.
I was going to ask,
like
in what
functional,
context? Do you think the one that works the best in combat, or the worst that I...
Okay,
the one
okay,
that I
I'll give you
enjoy
two.
the most?
Okay, the one that is the most practical and the one that you think just looks the coolest. I'll give you two. So let's start with the one that you think looks the coolest.
Thing is, practical is somewhat subjective.
No, but we're looking at the one that you think looks the
I
coolest.
know.
Start off with.
Bear with me. Practical is somewhat subjective because a big part of Batman's thing is fear as a weapon, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So therefore, someone would instantly think that, practical, it must be the Nolan one where it's all black. Well, not necessarily.
No.
Because the one where it's grey or black, or the one where it's, or the Batman Beyond one where it's black and red, can again, when you can make your opponent think you are more than a man, that can be very practical. So it's not easily deciphered on the most practical one.
Well, no, but like, no, but the question was, what's the most practical you think, tactically, and what's the most cool one that you think? Like, you could have one that you think looks really cool.
I
that's
suppose
not necessarily practical, and you can have one that you think is really practical that you might not think is necessarily cool.
I suppose tactically, I'd have to go with the Nolan one. Ask me why.
Why?
Because I'm not wearing hockey pads. I'm sorry.
Sold to the man in the cold sweat.
No, but yeah, honestly, other than the Nolan verse, a lot of incarnations of Batman have kind of emphasized the fact he really is just wearing like fabric. So I know, don't get, I keep up with the comics and all that. And again, the Arkham verse Batman. I don't know if did you ever play Arkham? Yeah, Arkham Knight and that.
Arkham Asylum. I played Arkham Asylum.
You didn't play City or Night?
No, because I never finished Arkham Asylum because I was really bad at it. And there was a part where I got really stuck on the level for ages and I never finished it.
Hopefully not when Victor Zsasz is holding the guy hostage.
No.
I'm sure it wasn't. That was at the start.
It definitely wasn't that. It was it was like the Riddler bit.
Ah, the Riddler stuff. To be honest, you're lucky because a lot of people hated in the Arkham Knight the shit with the Riddler.
No, it was Arkham Asylum. I was doing the Riddler bit.
For 2 games, people were bitching. Why isn't there a Batmobile? And they made the Batmobile such a fucking focal point of Arkham Knight. Everyone got sick of it after 5 minutes. And we're like, we don't want to be we don't want to do the Batmobile. We want to be fighting as Batman. Like, no, you have to be the Batmobile. The Batmobile is epic.
Which it isn't.
No, basically, yeah. The gameplay of the Batmobile was so boring.
Yeah, because the beginning of Arkham Asylum starts with Batman driving Joker to Arkham Asylum in like the passenger seat. He's just tied up.
Well, how much fun would you have in a Batman game if you were confined to a little box that was just firing missiles at cars that had no people
Do you know
in them?
what I would like? I'd like to have a Batman game that's sort of like an open world.
What, Arkham City?
It's an open world.
Pretty
where you
much.
can just do what you want. I'd like
Yeah.
a GTA sort of version where you're just Batman.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you can roam around
Okay, maybe I should
Arkham
play that game then.
You can roam around Arkham City, gliding, like you dive down with your Batcape and you can glide up and regain momentum. And you can hook shot off buildings, so you can pretty much never stop gliding and just fly down and attack thugs whenever you want.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay.
Yeah, you could do that for hours on end.
I should probably play that game then.
It really is good. But anyway, my favourite Batman suit, tactically, I have to... actually, no, fuck you. You didn't even say it.
Well, do you want to?
No, I'm actually going to say the Arkham Knight.
Oh, wait, I forgot you're engaged. It's okay.
Oh, damn it. The Arkham Knight Batman suit is actually more tactically versatile than the Nolan Batman, which is kind of unfair because the Arkham Knight came after
it's all the same
Nolan.
thing. It's all the same thing, though.
No, they go into detail in the Arkham Knight.
Explain.
The armor plating sort of mesh means that Batman's basically Bullet Jesus.
Oh, okay. That's not great though. I like.
I'd like to go with Michael Keaton's Batman outfit because that looked like it could take a bullet or so.
Okay, so that's your most tactical one. What's your one that you think looks the greatest?
Batman Beyond.
Really?
Like, I think about it for half a second and it's just like, it's just so cool. I never got the idea.
It is cool though, to be fair. I do like it as well. Yeah.
A close second is from The Dark Knight Returns. The grey suit with a giant black bat spread across the chest.
Oh, really?
That's pretty badass. But the Batman Beyond one with the red bat and it's the slick black suit just make him look like a fucking demon.
Yeah. No, that is kind of a cool one actually. Now I think about it. Yeah.
Yourself?
My one, I think, is probably The Dark Knight, and we're going to get onto The Dark Knight as a film in itself.
Well, the Nolan Batman.
Yeah. The Dark Knight, the Nolan Batman.
I think his suit was the same.
Because I think it was mostly to do with the fact that the Batman films that I'd seen were still the ones that where basically the actor had to turn his whole body to look.
Oh yeah, there's no neck.
Yeah, he had to go. He had to like swivel.
Keaton's Batman.
Yeah, he had to swivel his whole body to look somewhere, and then the fact that it looked a bit more like an actual sort of combat suit. And Nolan, he made Batman kind of more realistic. And it's like, I can believe that if a man was to dress up like a bat in this way, and he would create a tactical suit, this is the way it would be, made. And it engrossed me in it, because I was like, I believe that this is how someone could act like this and work like this in this suit. I believe, and it looks good. It looks good. I as much as I think that Batfleck, his suit looks it's very much reminiscent of the comics.
Yeah, it's pretty much based on the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
one.
it is. But Christian Bale's one, I don't know. For me, I can believe. It's more believable for me than Batfleck's one.
He's not a bit too of a skinny Batman for you? Or?
He is skinny, but the thing is, it's that I think that it's the shape of it, sort of the way it's constructed, and also the way the bat symbol on his chest is constructed. It looks. I can believe that someone will wear this more, whereas Batfleck's one, I know it's more kind of, it's based on the comics, it's a hark back to the comics for sure.
At least Batfleck has a voice modulator and doesn't just go, "Where are the other drugs going?"
Yeah. For sure. But I think if I was to choose between which Bat costume I think it's probably Christian Bale's.
And if you had a personal preference, one?
Personal preference? Oh, it's definitely the one from 1963. No.
Adam West, like in blue and grey.
No, I think it's the one I think it's about is it's actually the Batfleck one where he's wearing the trench coat.
From The Nightmare.
Yeah, I really like that trench coat look. Actually, I think when I saw that in the Batman vs Superman, I thought that looked really cool.
That was one of my favourite scenes in that film.
Yeah, because like having a cape, and he has a cape in Arkham Asylum, which kind of flows behind him. But I think having a trench coat, I think that, like, to me, I mean, I remember seeing it. I was like, I knew it was a dream sequence, but I was like, that is really cool, and it makes him. I just really like that. I think I would like Batman to have like a cape, but there's like it's an actual like a coat.
Yeah.
I thought that's really cool, and we saw it. Now let's go on to the trailer that I watched recently.
Quickly before we go back to the trailer, I want a quick opinion. Obviously, not too long ago, the Batterson. By that I mean
Robert Pattinson.
The Robert Pattinson Batman trailer recently came out, where obviously Robert Pattinson is starring in his own film as Batman, where it is based on the year one Batman, i.e. the comic series, where it's basically Bruce Wayne's first year as Batman, Gotham City's first introduction to Batman, if a game referenced Batman Origins. Do you remember that trailer?
No.
Oh, shit. I should have shown you that one before this.
Describe to our viewers. I'm sure some of them probably know it.
Well, the only real shots we get to see of Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, he looks alright. Basically just a guy in a suit. It's Bruce Wayne. His Batman suit on the other side is quite interesting. Apparently he's going a lot more tactically based. Like the idea of not someone that has... Okay, think of it like Batman. He's got all his money, but he hasn't got Lucius Fox. So he has to assemble his bat suit without Lucius Fox. And it looks sort of like that. That's someone that's bought the right sort of gear, but he's assembled it all himself.
Tactical.
Yes. And
someone that's bought like body armor or something like that.
He's bought body armor, his bat symbol. It's theorized that it's comprised of the gun that was used to kill his parents.
What would that be?
A handgun.
Yeah.
and like it's taken apart and made to form a bat symbol. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are a couple scenes.
What even was that? Because I've seen Batman Begins and I've seen Joker, and those guns are too different. So we're like, which is gonna be?
I'm not quite sure. However, in the trailer, there is.
It's just an evil gun that spouts injustice.
What's going to come out of this gun? Injustice. The twos of cowards and criminals.
I overfed these men.
There's one scene in the Batterson trailer where basically he comes across a criminal who says, "So who are you?" And all of the criminals' mates just stand there and watch Batterson.
Oh, I watched that.
Punch him.
Yeah, I watched that.
That's the trailer I'm talking about.
Yeah, we watched that.
Who are you? And then Batterson just goes whack, 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 whack.
Mate,
Batman.
That was savage, and I was like, okay, that was really cool, but it's like, why are your mates like not helping you in this fight?
I'm just saying, in Batman v Superman, how many people have fucking orgasm talking about the warehouse scene of proper Batman action? 8 people are attacking him at once, and he's managing to fend them all off, hook-shotting while throwing a batarang while dodging someone and all that shit.
Yeah, because it's the most Batman scene out of everything. This is the issue that I have with The Dark Knight Rises, is that there's the scene with Batman fighting Bane in broad daylight in the middle of the street. That's not Batman. Batman doesn't fight people that way. He fights people in the shadows. And even in the first Batman Begins, you know, when he's in the sort of
I was not a
shipping yard.
The shaky cam though
The
was
shipping,
a bit.
Yeah, but the shipping yard in Batman Begins, you know, that's Batman, and then he, you know, you have like the warehouse scene, which, let's be honest, it is a very good scene. That's what people think Batman does. He fights in the shadows. He fights in the dark. He owns the night. You know,
theatricality and deception.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerful agency initiated.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he does. That's what he does, and it's a great scene. And it's great. It's choreographed very well. As well. I think that's why I really like that scene, is because it's choreographed very well.
Yes.
But you know, I think it was much like sort of scenes like in The Dark Knight Rises where he's fighting in broad daylight. It's like, that's not what Batman does. Like that's...
You came back to die with your city.
Yeah, it's like Batman doesn't fight during the daytime. That's literally the antithesis of what he does.
A famous plot hole is how the fuck he came back to Gotham after getting out in the first place when he had no money left or anything.
Bruce Wayne.
Shut up! He's just back. Come on, we can only film.
Because I'm Batman.
We can only film till 9. Come on, we got to get this going.
Yeah. Because I'm Batman.
To be fair to the Nolan, even though people didn't like The Dark Knight Rises, Christopher Nolan films almost revolutionised Batman in terms of how audiences perceive him in cinema.
Yes.
Because the film we had before that was the Schumacher Batman and Robin. Then years later, we got Batman Begins and everything changed. And superhero films themselves.
Yeah, and we also, obviously, we have to talk about The Dark Knight.
Yes, of course.
The Dark Knight...
I don't want to make this too Joker-centric.
Okay, no, it's not going to be Joker-centric, but it's going to be... No. It's not going to be necessarily Joker-centric. Obviously, he will be a part of it, but as a film in itself, I think this film is great.
Oh, absolutely.
I've said in the previous Spider-Man episode about how a villain very much makes a film. And Heath Ledger, this film came out 2008, I believe. That might be wrong. But Heath Ledger as the Joker, even though he was not necessarily on screen, he created this aura of menace, of where you actually, like, you were scared of him. he was not cartoony. He was funny, but he was not cartoony. And he created this aura of menace as a villain. And every scene that he's in, you were completely focused on him. And this is what I want to talk about films, especially films that are not necessarily about like good guys, but it's basically film about good guys and bad guys, is that the fact that Heath Ledger's Joker is incredibly unpredictable. So one of the main points that I bring up is the fact that he gives two different stories about how he got his scars. One of them is about his abusive father. One of them is about how
the one with his wife, and he gets in with gangsters.
And he puts razors in his mouth. So he's unpredictable. You don't actually know the truth, and not knowing the truth is far more scary than actually knowing the truth, because you don't know what he's talking about. And then he also talks about truckloads of souls being blown up, and there's this theory about him being an ex-war veteran.
What's your opinion on that?
I think it's a really cool theory. I personally don't think that Christopher Nolan actually thought of that, but it's a very tragic.
It would explain
theory.
how he knows how to do dressage.
Yeah, he knows how to do drill. He knows about explosives. He knows about ammunition. He knows how to fire an RPG. He knows
interrogation methods.
Yeah, exactly. He does. Yeah. 100%. And that's a really tragic story. And I actually like that story. I much prefer that story for the Joker than him just falling in acid. And what I think about The Dark Knight that I really like about it, and personally for me, because I'm very much a horror fan, is that there's always this underlying kind of theme of threat. So, there's the thing where the Joker hangs that wannabe Batman guy off the thing. Yeah, it's like you're not expecting it, like at all. But it's like he's always there. There's always this sense of menace from him. And that's a way to keep the audience engaged, throughout everything. Like all of it. That's how you keep the audience engaged, and the music as well. I think The Dark Knight is one of those films that I would say is a masterpiece, much like Lord of the Rings. Every time I watch The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight is always a film that I always go back to. Like I love watching that film every time. I never get bored of that film because it's so. Just the way it's made, and the pacing, the dialogue, the characters, the actors.
Streamlined in a way that makes you think no scene is unnecessary.
Yeah,
every minute.
Oh my God,
counts towards something.
Yeah.
Like there's no bit of fluff dialogue. There's no character there for no reason.
Yeah.
Everything serves a purpose.
Yeah, and everything is like you can't miss scene or like even a little bit like the dialogue. I think The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, that's a good film, don't get me wrong, but The Dark Knight is a really great
I don't know if
piece
this
of
is
filmmaking.
I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but given the Nolan movies, I never liked Rachel. She always seemed like an annoying complainer rather than a doer.
They had two different actors. Funnily enough, the Rachel in Dark Knight is Rachel Gyllenhaal, I believe.
Right.
Who's Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio's sister.
Okay.
But they changed actresses from Batman Begins.
Imagine missing out on getting to be in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of actors between movies, like in The Matrix and all that, like, argue with the studios over getting paid. Like, happened in Iron Man as well. The guy that played Rhodey, after the first Iron Man, complained about, I want a bigger I want a bigger check for the next movie, and they said, no, fuck off. So they got a brand new roadie, and he got to be in the rest of the MCU. Imagine missing out on being in the Dark Knight.
Yeah, sadly.
But again, even in the first one and the second one, I never really liked her character.
No,
she seemed to be
really
something.
either.
She was a person Bruce wanted, but to me, sort of brought nothing.
Yeah, I didn't really either hugely care about Rachel that much.
I think that's why they brought in Catwoman in the third one. Obviously, I know she was already dead. I know Rachel was dead in the third one and all that sort of thing.
She was dead in the...
halfway through the second one.
Spoilers!
Halfway.
Alright, look, if you haven't watched it by now, that's your own fault.
If you haven't watched The Dark Knight by now, you uncultured swine.
Yeah, no, that's your own fault. I'm not one to victim blame, but you brought that upon yourself.
You were asking for it, coming in here looking like the way you are, not watching The Dark Knight.
Coming here, looking like the way you are. Tom Wilkinson, who played that guy in the first
Obviously, the actor that played Harvey Dent, pretty good Two-Face. I really liked him. Again, I think it's like we were talking about in a previous podcast episode, when a character not only needs a motivation, but they also need a personality.
Yeah, and I could, Aaron Eckhart, I could believe him as Harvey Dent.
Yeah, you believed him having more than just something to do.
Yeah, I could believe him as Harvey Dent. And
do you believe Harvey Dent?
Yeah, and there was the a little bit of a painful line. I will say this at the beginning of The Dark Knight, where Gary Oldman, who plays Commissioner Gordon, says, "We all know that you're Gotham's White Knight," and obviously the film's called Dark Knight, and he's Harvey Dent. We know that he's going to get his face burned off.
Do you think that's maybe come out with a cultural thing now that White Knight in like culture is referred to as like a bad thing?
No, White Knight.
Like a simp.
White Knight has always been a phrase. Before then,
but never in a negative context, because these days White Knight is referred to as a guy rushing in to aid someone when he was never asked to.
And again, like motherfuckers that say like, "Oh, my relationship was just like Harley and the Joker." You're like, yeah, you do know that relationship is like not healthy. It's really abusive and disgusting.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's a whole comic series of Harley going off with Ivy, Poison Ivy, because Harley's. Have you seen the animated Harley Quinn show?
I've seen animated Batman episodes where Harley Quinn's in it.
There was a segment in the animated Batman TV show back in the 90s when she did go with Harley Quinn. But the animated Harley Quinn show where the girl from Big Bang Theory, Kaylee Cuoco...
I haven't watched Big Bang Theory because I have sex with actual people.
Well, she's the voice of Harley Quinn and she's not too bad. It's basically... I'm going to quickly go on a tangent here. It has the most realistic depiction of Jim Gordon in any Batman franchise.
Commissioner.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon. Yeah. Do you know why? Because he looks absolutely stressed as fuck. He's got bags under his eyes. He's like coffee addicted. He's stressed as fuck. And he's always angrily lashing out.
Are you talking about Jim Gordon or us?
No, but honestly, I'll send you a clip. Is Commissioner Gordon in the Harley Quinn TV show is the most stressed out, coffee addicted person ever. But when you think about it, imagine you're the chief of police in Gotham City. Supervillains are breaking out of Arkham every night, killing hundreds of people.
Let's be honest, mate. He could have just gone to our university.
No, but honestly, I appreciate it so much as like the most realistic depiction of Jim Gordon. Because if you were the head of police in Gotham City, you would be the most stressed out person alive.
Well, yeah, that's. Have you watched Lego Batman? Like, for sure.
The amount of psychopathic supervillains that routinely break out of custody and kill thousands.
I mean,
it's like you'd never be able to sleep. Poison Ivy's broken out. The Riddler is planted a bomb in. Like, Scarecrow is like you never get to rest. And
I've only seen it though. You know, like in real life, like legit.
Plus, you see her ass.
Who's ass?
Harley Quinn's.
Suicide Squad.
No, from in the Harley Quinn TV show. There's a bit.
You basically see. I mean, you need to see Margot Robbie. Sorry, I just love Margot Robbie. She's a great
She was good in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Wait, so you enjoy her Harley Quinn?
No.
Is it better than Tara Strong in the Arkhamverse?
No. I enjoy Margot Robbie. My point I'm trying to make is that I see, or I don't see now as much, but I've seen motherfuckers.
You see motherfuckers?
Yeah. On my, like, social media page and shit. Like, saying, like, oh, we have the relationship that the Joker and Harley Quinn have. I'm like, bro, you know that's not, like, that's abuse. That's not a cool relationship. Like, that is the antithesis of what a healthy relationship would be. Like, have you not seen it? There is literally a scene in the animated series where Joker throws Harley Quinn out of a fucking window.
Because she didn't get the joke. I think this only came about after the Suicide Squad Harley. We all know there are sexy versions of every Halloween outfit. There is sexy fucking Jimmy Savile. There is sexy Harambe. There is
but there are people that like to think that the Joker and Harley relationship is romantic. It's not.
And that's
it's abusive and disgusting.
It got popularised because of Suicide Squad. Because once Harley Quinn got to wear like multicoloured booty shorts and fishnets, every girl after Suicide Squad, what were they dressed as for Halloween?
Yeah. Oh look, I'm his Harley, and he's my Joker. Oh great! So you might as well. Why didn't you dress up as? He's your Joseph Fritzl and you're his whatever fucking daughter wife that he raped and fucking whatever.
Because there's no comic series based on them.
Oh,
no, I get what you're saying. And obviously there is the...
Yeah, no, it's bad. It's like, you know...
It's like you were saying with 50 Shades of Grey. There is a sort of glamorization. And again, there are people that genuinely do... Like you were saying, like people that write love letters into... to criminals and all that sort of thing.
Also, 50 Shades of Grey is like literal abuse and shit.
That's like, the thing. Some people are attracted to darkness.
Yeah, but in 50 Shades of Grey, it goes to the point where like Christian Grey makes Anna, whatever her name is, the girl's name. I think it's Anna.
Anastasia Steele.
Yeah. He makes her sign a contract. Where it's like, oh, you have to be available to me at any time.
That is a thing in the BDSM community. Obviously, consent is a massive issue. And to be honest, the BDSM community despised how that film series
exactly. It's fucking awful. Because it's like, you have to be available to me at any time. Okay, well, what if I want to, do something else? Or go, go out to see a film or go and see my friends? Do I have to be available to you? It's like, no, that's not kinky. That's abuse.
BDSM,
all right, because
it isn't so much about submission. It's more, even if you're a sub, it's not about submission. It's about release.
It's also about
both parties.
Yeah, it's also about consent.
Exactly.
Whereas,
but that's where it comes from. It's more about your willingness to be completely 100% vulnerable.
Yeah,
with
I know,
someone.
But
and that requires trust.
Yes, but you have to give consent to it.
Yes, of course.
So, whereas in 50 Shades of Grey, it's like Christian Grey draws up this fucking contract where it's like, actually, you don't have a choice to give consent. You just do what I want. It's like, yeah, that's not right. Did
it piss you off at the end of the film when she was like, I want you to do it, give me the worst of it? And he like spanks her for 5 minutes and then she goes... You're never doing that to me again. How could you do that? And I was sat there watching that like, you asked him to.
Yeah, I was like, you fucking asked him to.
And then she runs off like he'd done something horrible.
No, that was the point that I was like, you know what? You know what, girl? Good for you. Run as far away from this cum chug as you possibly can. Christian Grey...
She came to him. He didn't come to her.
No, but he fucking did the shit. All right, you should run away from this cunt as fast as you can. That is what you should do. He's a piece of shit. Why are you saying? Also, you've got no character development.
I know you
Neither
haven't
does he.
seen the next things, but they eventually get married, just so you know.
Yeah, I know, but it's stupid. It's not like 50 Shades of Grey is not romantic BDSM. It's abuse. It's emotional abuse. I'm not talking about the BDSM bit. I'm talking about the emotional abuse that he does. He gets a fucking guy. He gets his like butler to steal her car and sell it and buy her a new one.
How that works with insurance is beyond.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking stupid. Like, it's fucking stupid. It's like, are we literally at this point? I have written a lesbian sex scene in my book.
I believe you.
Which is better. I will send it to you, actually.
I bet you will.
I also want Ray to read it, because I think she might like it. But I have written a lesbian sex scene that has more substance in it in, like, a page than 50 Shades of Grey does.
Speaking of sex scenes, in The Killing Joke, Batman's sex scene with Batgirl.
Oh, yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I actually found it a bit funny.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of found it a bit funny.
Why?
Because it was... Okay, so the reason why I found it a bit funny is because I, at college, not uni college, I was part of a, did a show. It's called the London Cuckolds. It's a comedy show. Whatever. Sexy. It's raunchy. It's great.
Yeah.
Great. But there was a seduction scene that I had to do that obviously went wrong because it's a comedy, so it's obviously like a
Not
farce.
as bad as the time you did Midsummer Night's Dream.
Oh, no. It was way funnier than Midsummer Night's Dream. Because, I actually had a competent director.
Oh.
Pew, 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 pew.
Absolutely
Anyway.
No context there. So...
Yeah, no, you know what you did.
Could you imagine them listening to this?
No, I can't.
This random episode, like,
No, I
fucking
can't. No,
way.
I can't imagine them listening to this. Anyway, did a scene. It was, my character, a bit of a cad, bit of a lad, trying to seduce a girl who is
So you were a Chad.
Yeah. Or a wannabe Chad. Bit of a lad. Bit of a lad.
Sorry, do that again for me.
Or, bit of a lad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, no, I just climbed in through your window. Oh my
You're
God.
like a blind cockney.
No, I didn't do the voice. Hang on, it was like, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I thought this window was open, but apparently the room is full of a certain beautiful lady. And trying to seduce this young woman.
Okay.
Or whatever. Yeah, trying to seduce this young woman in a very comical sort of way. It's like, oh, well, I'm terribly sorry, but may I sit next to you? Oh, thank you. My journey has been long and hard. It's all like that sort of,
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
sort of thing. So this is in the a comical attempt of trying to seduce, said maiden fair,
Right.
as it were. But the point is
Yeah.
that scene was far more erotic than whatever the fuck was going on in the goddamn...
I think you're trying to explain why the Batman fucking Batgirl was comical.
Yeah.
Why was that funny?
Because the Batman Batgirl, he was like, I love you. I'll kiss you. I'm going to jump on top of you, and I'm going to take off my thing, and then we're going to have sex. It's like, I get that Bruce Wayne is like a bit of a loner, and he's probably kind of lonely and probably wants sex and stuff like that, but it's like, it makes no fucking sense.
I always imagine, because Bruce Wayne he's almost like a asexual. Like, obviously we know he had sex with Talia al Ghul to create Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
But the idea that he's so devoted to the thing, like,
She tamed my monster.
I would
And I
honestly...
fight crime in a rubber suit. Really seals in the flavor.
I would almost believe like Bruce Wayne would be the kind of guy that would take like hormone blockers or that chemical castration shit to be like, I can't have my libido affect my mind. Because remember, he goes up against Poison Ivy.
Yeah, but clearly he didn't.
Yeah, but you'd think logically, because he has villains like Poison
Bang,
Ivy, whose thing is pheromones that fuck with your libido, he'd make it so that his dick doesn't move ever.
Yeah, but like, I just, I just really thought that scene was like just, first of all, pointless. It didn't take anything anywhere. It was useless to the plot. There was no reason for it to be there. It didn't advance any plot. It didn't create any storyline.
It was meant to be an example of, for example, Batgirl got into a thing with the bad guy in that movie, how easy it is to fall into a psychopathic relationship like Batman has with the Joker. That is the loosest tie, for example. And obviously in The Killing Joke, she ends up getting crippled from
Yeah, but it just made there was no reason for it. I was like, this is a point of like fluff that I guess the writers probably thought it was great, but actually it's like there's no point.
I think it was to build more emotional reaction to that moment we see her get shot by the Joker.
Yeah, for sure. But
so we see a first little thing of Batgirl being Batgirl,
and that would be great if Batman actually showed emotion after she was shot, but she didn't. And he wasn't even there.
To be fair,
for the shooting,
being in front of the policeman that told her, Batman has to pretend like he doesn't care. Like Batman has to put on that persona of the stone faced.
Yeah, I didn't care about them having sex. I was like, okay, this is dumb. I actually thought that I know that the Killing Joke, actually the new Killing Joke, the one that they released. Well, I say the new one. 2018-17.
Yeah.
That one. You lent it to me. You lent the DVD to me and I watched it. It was supposed to be a somewhat kind of shot-for-shot remake of the comic.
Yeah, the graphic novel.
Yeah, the graphic novel.
A lot of the panels, it was word for word.
Yeah, sure. But I think that might have been a mistake.
They even got on Henry Cavill. Sorry, not Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, did they?
Kevin Conroy and
they got Mark Hamill though.
Mark Hamill's Joker to do it.
Yeah. But the thing is about that is that they made it shot for shot sort of remake of the comic, the graphic novel, right? But the thing is, like, once you've got the medium of animation, you can make it much more. You can make it so much more, but they didn't. They're just trying to make a shot-for-shot remake of the graphic novel. I thought, like, this could be way much... Like, I thought the torture of, Gordon, that could have been so horrific.
There was no song in the original comic
and graphic.
either.
That could have... but that could have been so horrific and graphic. That could have been so good.
You think they should have gone further?
Yeah, I think they should have gone further. I think they should have completely just gone hardcore, like, and made it a real masterpiece of animation.
Would you say Joker's philosophy on the idea of the one bad day holds any weight? Could anyone be broken in the span of a day?
Oh yeah, no, but I think the issue with me is not about the character development or the story.
Well, you said they didn't go far enough.
No. The issue that I have is not for the character development or the story, it's for the animation. It's that the animation could be way more exciting than it was.
How do you mean? Do you mean in terms of the frames or the design?
Just the animation, the presentation of what they could have done on screen. Right. The story is good enough. We know that it's one of the greatest. It's one of my favourite stories.
So it's more graphic?
Well, just more...
We should have seen Commissioner Gordon's Willy or something. Or...
No. More to do with the fact that it could have been more... the artwork and the actual animation of the scenes could have been so much more. I think the animators could have done a lot more with it, but they sort of didn't. I think that's the thing with animators. I've known a few animators in my life, and animators are fucking nuts. and so like they could have made it much more kind of over the top and crazy, because the Joker, he's over the top and crazy. Just
Well, I think
you've got all these tools for animation. Don't try and make like a sort of copy of the graphic novel. Animate, because you're an animator. You can make stuff just crazy and mad. The Joker is crazy and mad. So come on, man, do it. Go balls to the wall.
All right, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, just do it.
There were some moments that were still good in it, but I do know what you mean. Maybe it was lacking a little bit of punch that it should have had, because obviously the Killing Joke is famous in the Batman community. Same with death of the family and death in the family and all that sort of thing. It's all just sort of
Yeah. I mean, I definitely liked it. I definitely liked it, but I just thought, like, when you're given the opportunity to do animation, like, expand and be creative and stuff like that. I felt the Killing Joke, it was trying to be very much, true to the comics, the graphic novel, but it's like, just,
For example, do you
expand.
remember Joker's moments at the end? The joke he tells.
Oh yeah.
You remember that joke?
Yeah, so I'll shine the beam over.
The
and you
two
walk
asylum
across.
members. How did you interpret that joke?
What was
I'm
the joke,
honestly
actually?
leading on to something here, but to start with, how did you interpret that
what
joke?
was the joke? It was like,
I'll give a summation. Basically, there are two people in an asylum,
Yeah,
and they decide they don't like living the asylum. So one day they decide to escape. So they're leaping over the buildings, and eventually they come to a gap.
The
One guy leaps over the building, no problem, but the next guy, he's too scared. So the guy leaps over, said, "Hey, I know, I've got this flashlight. I'll shine a light over the two buildings and you can walk across the beam to the other side." And the other inmate goes, "What do you think I am, crazy? You'll just turn it off when we're halfway across."
Yeah, I think my interpretation of that is the fact that, first of all, the second guy has a sense of humour. He's made the joke because he understands that shining a torch beam, you can't walk across. Right?
Exactly.
But he makes a joke to the first guy. First guy jumps across. The first guy also made a joke. But we don't actually know the relationship these two guys have, do we? These two guys, we don't know if they're friends. They might be enemies. So who is trying to fool the other?
There are two ways to look at it, I find. One is the person that went across the building to begin with is the Joker, and the freedom is insanity. Because both the Joker and Batman are insane, and what they're escaping from is not the mental asylum, because the idea of the mental asylum in itself is reality, it's sanity. But Batman can't go all the way. He's still denying that he's insane. And the Joker is shining a beam across to Batman saying, just walk across and be insane.
So the Joker's the first guy to jump across?
The Joker leaps towards freedom, which is freedom from reality, which is freedom from sanity, to be completely insane. And Batman is the man that can't go across it. Or the idea is that Batman is the guy that flees away from insanity, and the flashlight he's holding across is towards the Joker, and the light itself is the rehabilitation he offered the Joker. But the Joker doesn't believe it'll work, or he believes, like he said, you'll turn it off when we're halfway across. He believes Batman will abandon him because the Batman offered to rehabilitate him in his offer. The Joker doesn't believe Batman will stay around to see with him the whole day to get to reality. So that's why Joker says it's too late. he feels too safe being insane than to risk going across the beam to sanity. He believes Batman will abandon him.
But it's interesting, and obviously there's there's the infamous bit at the end of the Killing Joke where
Whether or not he killed him.
they both start laughing.
What do you believe?
Well, it's not like I honestly cannot say. But what I would say is that the logical thing for Batman to do, which I think most people think the logical thing for Batman to do, is to kill the Joker.
I think he killed the Joker, because that was the whole point. Because when Batman first met the fake Joker in the asylum, he talked about how this can't keep going on. Eventually, this is going to end with you or me killing each other.
Yeah.
And he gives one last chance. He offers out his hand and says, "Let me help you." But the Joker says no.
Yeah.
Leaving only one alternative.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is that like people say, like if Batman kills the Joker, then he's just as bad as the Joker. It's like, yeah, but he's not though. Like, he's really not. It's like
I'd like to see you at the case at the trial. Yeah, but he's not though.
Yeah, but he's not though, because it's like look at how many people the Joker has killed. The case rests. And like killing him is probably actually the safest thing you can fucking do.
Well, it's more the idea that Batman wants to kill, and that's been one of the biggest differences between being Batman and Superman. Because Batman himself said it deep down, I know Clark is a good person, and I know deep down that I'm not.
Yeah.
Batman wants to kill. Batman wants to kill everyone, and he has to force himself not to.
Yeah, because he's a pussy. No, he is.
No, you have to remember, this is a man that is trained to murder in the most efficient way. So if he feels like if he ever went over the line, what is then to stop him going on a mass spree of endless slaughter?
I'm assuming the discipline that he learned in the mountains.
I learned my skills that I learned in the mountains.
Yeah, because he learned disciplinary skills in the mountains.
But he didn't learn restraint.
Yeah, you don't need to just have training in restraint to not have restraint.
Wait, what?
Because you don't, because it's like you don't need to, like the average human being knows about, ethics and stuff. I'm assuming that Bruce Wayne knew about ethics.
But the average human being didn't see their parents shot in front of them at 8 years old.
Yeah, no, but the thing is, the fact that he doesn't kill the Joker means that the Joker's just going to carry on killing people.
And the Batman sees that as a necessary evil compared to the evil he would inflict.
Remember because he's weak.
That is one possible conclusion.
He's a fucking pussy. Let's be honest. He's like, oh no, if I kill someone, then I'm going to carry on killing everyone. It's like, no, he's a fucking pussy. Look, the Joker has killed fucking hundreds of thousands of people. Kill that bitch. You are apparently a disciplined martial arts fucking whatever the fuck you think you are. Alright? So that's just, you are more than capable of having the discipline to not kill those people. Shut the fuck up. You're a millionaire. Stop being a bitch. Fucking just kill the Joker. Alright? Make it better for everyone in Gotham. Alright, you fucking pussy.
I did like in the Robot Chicken where he's like, I've sworn to let the courts and the justice system do their work, and it cuts to a court scene of like a judge going, and thanks to the testimonial by Batman, thank you Batman, we've implored on the death penalty.
Superman.
Yeah, so Batman doesn't kill the Joker. That's presented
as a joke, but it's like, why the fuck would Batman not do that?
Well, it depends what state he's in. It's believed that Gotham City.
Go to Texas, bitch.
Well, it's believed Gotham City is in Delaware, so it's like.
Well, go to Texas, bitch.
Yeah, Texas would. The Joker's believed to have killed over more than 1,000
Yeah,
people.
exactly. Go to fucking Texas. All right, come on, man. Like, stop making America suffer, you selfish cunt. You rubber suit gimp fucking face motherfucker.
Well, there's a question, Rob. Is Batman insane?
I don't think he's insane.
Really?
No, I think he's definitely having a mental breakdown, but he's also quite misled.
Where's the distinction?
Well, so as far as have learnt in my absolutely completely internet-based research,
As someone that's studied psychology, please go on.
is that mental breakdowns don't actually present themselves in the same way necessarily. Some people have mental breakdowns in quite subtle ways, in the ways that it's quite sort of subtle, undistinct to some people.
Well,
or like
for
people
example,
around them.
do you believe Joker's one bad day thing?
No.
You don't believe someone can be brought to madness in one day?
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, I will send you a video actually, because there's a guy.
Please don't let it be another video of you fucking.
No, it isn't. But
the nightmares won't stop.
No, there's a clinical psychologist. It's actually there's a clinical psychologist who's actually diagnosed sort of the Joker film about his sort of mental illness, and that's not how people work. People don't just have one bad day and snap. People build up.
Isn't that also part of the Joker philosophy, though? That's the thing.
No, it's not.
Every person in society is built up to the point that one bad day could do it.
I think you've got to watch this video, because there's this sort of romanticized idea about psychosis and mental illness that people have attached to the Joker that is just completely untrue. I'll send you the video. Anyway.
I think the Joker means like again from the Heath Ledger Joker as well, like people in society just like we keep up appearances, but we're all just so close to snapping. And that does happen, spree killers and all that sort of thing. Like sometimes you do get someone that's like they ask for a straw at Starbucks and the guy says behind the counter, sorry, that was the last straw. And the guy just fucking loses it and begins killing everyone.
I don't know how true that is, but
well, there was the Virginia Tech shooter, the DC sniper, and things like that. Like people that do just sort of
but they had issues way before then.
True. So you believe there's no hair trigger sort of cases?
There's not a hair trigger. People build up, I believe, mental problems. Before there's not just something that makes people sort of like snap, and then suddenly they become like a serial killer.
So then it's just like what Batman said. Mm-hmm. Maybe people don't just snap. Maybe it's just you, and that like really fucking imagine that, because that scared the Joker. The idea that he's the only one that could happen to him.
I think the issue with the Joker, or not issue, but the thing with the Joker is that he doesn't have a clear backstory on how he actually became the Joker.
So either because he doesn't remember it or he misremembers it.
Yeah, but you have loads of them. So you have the one where he drops in acid, which is the most, prevalent one. Then you have the Heath Ledger one, which is very sort of like you don't really know what actually the truth is. Then you have the Arthur Fleck. You have the
isn't the point of it that it doesn't matter? Isn't that the whole point? Anyone could become the Joker if they went through the right amount of things that he did.
Well, no, it does matter. I think it does matter.
You don't believe anyone could become the Joker?
I think it does matter because, fucking what's his name? The guy who shot up the Colorado, cinema.
Oh, James Holmes.
He thought he was the Joker.
Could have been.
But...
he didn't stick to it, though.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do you
No,
believe you could become the Joker if, say, you were kidnapped, shown videos of your own family members being tortured and murdered, and, I don't know, were then given an AK-47 and pushed into a schoolyard? You wouldn't reenact the end of Revenge of the Sith?
No, I would find those people that did that to me, and then I would.
You think you'd be in the right frame of mind to have that sort of cognitive sort of thinking?
I think that the point I'm trying to make really is that the fact that the Joker's backstory has always been very ambiguous.
Right.
Like, no one actually really knows what the actual backstory of the Joker is, which I think makes him a great villain.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The evil you don't know in that.
Yeah, exactly. So, the human imagination will always... it will always... the human imagination will, wander.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Because, it's much like like with horror. It's like, once you see what the monster looks like, then there's no imagination that you need to create. You just see what it looks like, and it's less scary.
Looking at you, Insidious.
Yeah, exactly. So, I believe that the reason why the Joker's a great villain is because he's shrouded in ambiguity. And I think that's why he's a great villain. I think that's why he's one of the best villains, actually.
Well, that was a big interesting thing between the Michael Keaton Batman and the Dark Knight, because in the Michael Keaton Batman, you don't see Batman's origins, but you see the Joker's. And the Dark Knight, Batman's origin, but you don't know the Joker's.
Yeah.
So which character did you relate to more? Because in the we see Jack Nicholson become the Joker in the Michael Keaton Batman, but we don't see the Joker become in the Dark Knight. But people do love the Jack Nicholson Joker, regardless.
Yeah, no, for sure. They absolutely do. And
I think Jack Nicholson recorded him saying the Joker was like a psychotic Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, Jack Nicholson, he was good, for sure. For sure. But I prefer the Heath Ledger because the more imagination that you give the audience of the villain, the more sort of ambiguity you give, they'll create their own kind of idea. The Heath Ledger Joker, for me, personally gave a lot more menace. He was way more menacing. He was more threatening throughout the film. He had this sense, even when he wasn't on screen, and even when Harvey Dent is talking about the Joker killings, it's like he's still sort of prevalent there. He's still sort of hanging over your head. I think Heath Ledger's Joker, he just did it. He just did it well. As much as I love Jack Nicholson's one, I really do. I think he's good, but I will say, now let's, go on a little bit onto sort of Batman villains. Danny DeVito's the Penguin.
That was interesting.
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw that, he scared the shit out of me.
Have you ever seen Gotham?
No, not the TV show.
Because there's only that pertains the only other live action example of a penguin character.
Yeah.
And it's nowhere near as, I'd say, prominent.
Is it not? The Danny DeVito Penguin scared the shit out of me when I first saw it. Like, no joke.
Would you say that's a kid's film? Because I wouldn't.
No, it's a 15.
Yeah, it's
a 15.
That is not a kid's film.
It's definitely not a kid's film. But
people forget how horny fucking Danny DeVito's Penguin was.
Yeah, he was. And then you see Danny DeVito in Always Sunny in Philadelphia and shit. But like, watching that film,
I haven't watched much of that film.
I mean, yeah, it's not great. It's alright. But watching Danny DeVito as the Penguin in Batman Returns, isn't it? Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. But I remember, that's influenced my adult life. But watching him in that, he genuinely, he scared me as like a villain, like, but not in like sort of traditional way. But he was like weird looking. He was creepy. He bit that guy's nose off. He had the teeth, the pointed, like he was a creepy villain.
The fucking little hand. To be
Yeah,
fair, let's give a quick shout out to whoever did the makeup and prosthetics.
Oh my god, yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal looking.
Whoever you are, I hate you, but I also love you.
You did such a good job, and again, this is
of traumatizing me.
This is an ongoing message whenever you and I discuss like practical effects in film and CGI and all that, but it seems practical effects and makeup always win out.
Oh yeah, exactly.
If they're done so well,
because it's real.
Yeah,
it's real. Like if it's actually there, it's real.
I think people, even if it doesn't look right, appreciate seeing something real before their eyes, as opposed to something computer fucking generated. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't think you could have done the fucking Infinity Stones in practical effects.
No, you couldn't have done Gollum in, practical effects. Gollum Smeagol, you couldn't have done it. He was CGI.
I think you maybe could have. Cause do you remember Christian Bale in The Machinist? Because he had a sort of Gollum body.
Oh yeah, that's because he actually
and you put the right sort of makeup.
And he also starved himself. Like, he fucked himself up.
So it's possible, because you remember in Return of the King, when they showed you scenes of him becoming Gollum.
Yeah, but Gollum.
So you can definitely have that kind of makeup.
Yeah, but Gollum's he's like a hobby. He's a tiny sort of dude. They put him in the sort of a CGI suit.
I'm just saying, get the right sort of makeup artist and a plasticine guy, and I'd be like, show us what you can do.
Yeah, Andy Serkis is an incredible actor. Anyway, Batman.
I'm taking nothing away from him.
Yeah, anyway,
Batman
back to Batman.
Batman Returns.
Too many
Batman.
The thing that I remember from that film is Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Because he's, again, going back to our Spider-Man episode, the villain is just so good.
I don't think Catwoman was much of a villain. Again, Christopher Walken. I think it was like his name was Max Shrek. Like that was the name of his thing. Sorry, I can't bring you a coffee. My assistant's using her vacation time. It's just like such a
Again, like Shrek in Schrecklich in German means terrible. So it's like Max Shrek.
Is that in any way related to why Shrek in the animated film as him as an ogre is like...
Oh yeah, probably Schrecklich.
Drinks mud and shit and all that?
Yeah, a Schrecklich in German means terrible, essentially.
Folklore. A lot of folklore is Germanic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we close this podcast out...
Right.
I have a question for y'all.
Oh, fucking hell, the time.
Yeah, I know.
Never enough. Viewers, you must have loved our Batman banter about 50 Shades of Grey.
My question for you, sir.
Yeah?
Is... well, it's sort of like a two-part question.
Okay.
Your favourite Batman?
Right.
And your favourite Joker?
Oh... It's funny you say that, because I was actually going to mention, imagine if they put the fucking Jack Nicholson Joker against Christian Bale. How would that have chemistry have worked? But anyway, maybe for a future we'll do a little bit of cross.
And it could be animated, it can be anything. Your favourite Batman, your favourite Joker, it could be cross between anything. What's the stuff that you like the most?
I guess the Batman that hit me the most... The Batman that went right to the core of what I believe Batman is all about was from the animated Batman of The Dark Knight Returns. The voice of which for that Batman, as we started, I did an impression of that at the start of this podcast, was the voice of RoboCop from the original 1980s movie. Because that Batman sort of encapsulated, because obviously that film starts with, this is a Batman that's supposedly retired, and he seems Gotham getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And he just sort of can't take it anymore. And he goes back to being Batman. And it's just so perfect. He's also an imposing Batman. This is someone that looks like John Cena's dad took steroids. It's like such a big guy. And it has so much psychological effect to the idea of Batman himself as to why he does this, and his never-ending crusade, which is so internalized that all he can do is run from his challenge until it eventually catches up with him. For those of you that have not seen it, The Dark Knight Returns Part 1 and Part 2, I would recommend for any fan, not necessarily of Batman, of any fan of intense character, dramatical interpretation, because it is absolutely phenomenal. As for my top Joker, it's not Ledger.
Who is it?
It's, of course, Cesar Romero from the 1960s. I'm kidding. Quick shout out to Cesar Romero, though. You were, of course, the OG Joker, and there would be no further Jokers without you, so good boy, cookie for you. I am afraid I'm going to go with the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, because the whole point of the Joker, I believe, is the idea that absolutely anybody can be the Joker. Even the Heath Ledger Joker, the idea is that absolutely anyone is one step away from being him. And the whole point of the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the whole point of the film is that this was a man that was just trying to be a good guy, trying to live a normal life. He was looking after his mom, he was doing his job, and he was trying to find little joy where he could in the world. And the world itself was just grinding him down and down and down until the only resort left were his own animal primal instincts.
Which was to kill people.
To fight back. He was pushed up against a wall, and he was left with no other choice. It didn't help that he was gone off his meds, because this is a guy that's mentally ill. He had no other choice but to fight back, and through that, he eventually went through some sort of mental evolution to become the Joker.
You say mental evolution. I believe I'd probably phrase it as like a psychotic breakdown, though.
Again, like you said before, maybe I'm romanticizing
I believe I'd probably call it like a psychotic break rather than a mental evolution.
Yes,
because no sane person.
A psychotic break, but that break was of the chains that society threw upon him.
Yeah, but no sane person goes to kill people.
No. That should absolutely never be a resort you can go to unless your own life is in danger, which it wasn't. Well, maybe on that... Those guys from Wayne Corp could have kicked him to death on the train, we don't know.
Yeah, but killing Robert De Niro definitely wasn't... That wasn't self-defense, mate.
That was a good scene, though.
Yeah, it's funny as fuck, but it wasn't...
But he was already the Joker at that point. Like, you could say,
yeah,
like,
well,
the guy he shanked in his apartment, he shouldn't have done that either.
Well, yeah, no, he shouldn't have done that.
Exactly. But
just because he's the Joker doesn't, give him an excuse to shoot someone in the face.
But exactly, the Joker's
or
never
stab someone in the neck.
The Joker's never justified his killings. The Joker knows what he's done is the wrong thing to do.
No, but he tried to justify his killings during the interview.
It was more he's found a different philosophy of how life should be led.
No, but he tried to justify his killings. In
the context of the Joker, yes. I'm talking about the Joker character overall.
No, but the Arthur Fleck Joker, he tried to justify his killings, which were very unjustified.
Well, of course, because he was, again, mentally ill, so he's not acting through logic, is he?
Well, I mean, no, but that's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying he's a good Joker.
No, but you tried to justify his killings.
Not really. Again, like, the guy he shanked his apartment, no, and... Again, there's a lot of debate even in America where self-defense comes to, for example, the stand your ground law and all that. But there are certain states where Arthur Fleck done could have been defended.
Well, no, because he shot a guy that was running away from him,
who had initially attacked him.
Yeah, but he was no longer a threat. If you're running away from someone, you're no longer a threat, and he just shot him. he shot Robert De Niro, who was sitting in a seat. That's not a threat.
Yeah, the Robert De Niro thing, absolutely.
He killed that woman that he had that weird fake relationship with.
It's sort of ambiguous whether or not he killed her. Did we see a body?
I feel like you're trying to sort of like...
Oh, no, genuinely.
I feel like you're trying to be like a little bit pernickety. Trying to like... I feel like you're trying to like... I feel like you're sort of trying to like pick a side, being a bit pernickety.
No, genuinely, it's honestly an online thing about whether or not he actually killed her.
Yeah,
and if he did kill her, did he kill her daughter
Yeah, but
as well?
I feel like you know that he did, but I think you're trying to sort of defend him a bit.
It's possible he didn't. I believe he did, personally, from when I watched that film. The context suggests he does. However, there does exist a reality where he may not have.
I feel that's a little bit of a... maybe not the strongest argument you could have made about him.
It's more of a cop-out. But my point is, I think he is a good representation of the Joker, given the Joker's philosophy is that anyone can be the Joker, and he, as an average man who was trying to get on in the world, became the Joker.
I think that's very much a good kind of thing to hold on to about the Joker, is because no one actually really knows the, like, origin of the Joker, really, because there's so many different origins, aren't there? Because I remember reading one about he was a failed comedian, which is obviously a thing that's comes up in the Joaquin Phoenix film, but his name's actually Joker.
I've heard that one.
Yeah. But there's so many, and I think that's what gives the Joker a lot of power, is the fact that no one actually knows his actual origin. Whereas, like, when you have a superhero or a supervillain, where you know what their origin story is, and so you're like, okay, this is why they are, this is what they are. But I think actually what I like about the Joker is that no one actually knows, and it gives him this sort of mystery, about his actual history, and no one actually knows what it is.
Yeah.
That's what I like about him the most.
Well, the Joker does hold, I guess, somewhat of personal interest to me. I'll reveal this story here because no one ever listens to this point. When The Killing Joke first came out, I watched it with a partner. Not my current partner. The first Killing Joke, the animated movie.
It's okay, you just say it to me.
I watched it with my partner, with a partner at the time, and she looked at me during those flashbacks when it was the guy who was talking to his pregnant ex-wife. He was saying, like, hey, you make me laugh and you're good in bed and all that. And my partner looked at me, is like, dude, is this fucking you? It's like, no, but then...
Yeah, because you don't make her laugh, you're not good in bed.
But then, when I went to go see the Joaquin Phoenix Joker in the cinema with my current partner, and those scenes were going of him being a struggling comedian and all that sort of thing and all that, she also then looked at me in the cinema. It's like, fucking hell. And believe it or not, when we were back in university, people used to fucking... There was one person, I'll let you know after the podcast is over, who used to say to me, oh, Dylan, I wouldn't be surprised if you went around Burnbeck with an axe and killed us all.
Oh yeah, don't tell us. That fucking cunt.
So people throughout my life, it seem to resonate certain characteristics between me and the Joker, which has not always come off as flattering as it appears.
I mean, it shouldn't, because there's nothing about the Joker that is flattering, let's be honest.
Which is exactly my reaction. Like, oh, thanks. I'm glad you see similarities between me and this loser that ends up killing people.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. When I watched Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, obviously it's a good joke. I, like, at the end of the film, I really felt just he was like this loser. I was like, mate, this guy's like a little bit pathetic.
Do you believe the idea that it was like the story of the unreliable narrator? Like, the entire thing was Joker telling that story to his psychiatrist at the end of the movie?
I believe it was because there's the other, I think the part that got me was where he has that sort of quote unquote fake relationship with his neighbor.
Yeah.
Which obviously isn't true.
What kind of got me was the gun he had, which was a barrel revolver, And he shot more than 5 or 6
Yeah,
shots.
it was a 38 special, and he fired like 8 rounds.
Like,
Trust me, I'm autistic enough. I count rounds, all right?
I counted
count
as well.
Yeah, I
And
counted around.
Okay, it might not be a 5 barrel, it might be a 6 barrel,
it's a
but
6.
he certainly shot more
most,
than that.
Most revolvers are 6, and I saw it as a 38 snub nose. And I was like, okay, he's got 6 rounds, and he fired 8, and I was like, okay, so obviously he's... But then he had the thing with the fake, neighbor girlfriend. So I was like, okay, so clearly this is probably from his perspective. He's clearly suffering from some sort of psychosis or something like that.
Delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what's real, what's not, or whatever. And
getting a bit real there, Rob.
Yeah, and so I throughout that I was like, okay, so this is definitely from his perspective. And so if stuff happens, I don't necessarily have to believe that this stuff is actually happening. Like
the bit where he's pulled out of the car wreckage, he stands up, makes the face, and everyone's cheering from him.
Yeah, exactly. And at that point, I would have finished the film there.
I'd agree.
I would have finished the film there. I would have done that, cut to black. I think that would have been powerful.
However,
that would have been good. I would not have done the stuff in the asylum. I wouldn't have cared.
I did
that
kind of love the bit where it turned out he killed the therapist because there's blood on his shoe, and then he gets chased. That made me laugh.
But yeah, I know.
And the Joker should make you laugh.
Yeah, I know. But at that point, I was just like, it took away from the ending. It took away from that bit.
Maybe that's the joke. The Joker's not going to give you the ending you thought.
Yeah, that's not the joke, though. That's not the joke, though. That's weak. That's weak sauce. That's weak sauce. It actually annoyed me, that bit. It's like he did the thing, cut to black, and then it cuts back to him. I was like, oh, fuck this. I was ready to leave. I was like, no. Why'd you do that?
This coming from someone who loves Lord of the Rings that has 14 unnecessary endings.
Yeah.
Like, we really needed to see Aragorn fucking crowned.
Yeah, but those endings? Those endings were actually worth it. That
really?
Joker ending was not worth it. You cannot compare. You cannot compare that Joker ending to the Lord of the Rings endings. You cannot do it. I defy you, sir, to defend that Joker ending in my house.
You're out of order. You're out of order. The whole system's out of order.
You know what? Leave my house, and I'm going to leave my house as well.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
we got a few minutes left. Your favourite Batman and Joker?
My favourite, Heath Ledger, obviously, great guy, amazing guy. He was the first. He had this aura of menace. He this threat. Even when he wasn't on stage, he was on screen. He was, like you were very much afraid of what he's doing. You were always thinking about, oh God, what's he gonna do next? Fantastic Joker. He was also real. You could believe that someone could be this person. Whereas Jack Nicholson, the previous Jokers, I couldn't. I got the comic books and stuff like that. Joaquin Phoenix, I believe that the Joaquin Phoenix Joker film is kind of a thing on its own, though. I think that's its own piece of art in its own right. And I think it's a great film. It's a hard film to watch. It's an unsettling film. It's an upsetting film.
It's almost Tarantino. Isn't it?
Well, Tarantino films are somewhat entertaining, to the point. Not entertaining, but Tarantino films is like they're not necessarily sort of uncomfortable to watch, whereas Joker was uncomfortable film to watch.
I think Django was pretty uncomfortable to watch.
No, it was, but Django had good. Django had some humor to the point. It was Django is almost a different genre because Tarantino films are also different genres.
He goes between action, historic, and
whereas the Joker film, that was an uncomfortable film to watch, and that doesn't mean that it's bad. That does not mean in any way that I think it was bad. It was a great film. But
you and I have seen a lot of uncomfortable films.
I watched
Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I've watched
Serbian film.
Yeah,
and that,
Serbia, A Prisoner of Auschwitz. I watched that. Schindler's and stuff. It was one of those films where I was watching.
Unpleasant does not denote quality.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's a good film, but it was not a pleasant film to watch. It really was. So Heath Ledger's my favourite Joker. My favourite Batman, and this is not live action, but my favourite Batman is probably I believe it's Batman Return.
No love for George Clooney.
No, it's the one where what's the Batman one where the Joker goes on live TV and he kills the guy with the coffee cup. Batman Returns.
Yeah, that's a Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, Dark Knight Returns. That's my favourite Batman actually.
That's
my favourite Batman because I love that one because it's what I always thought Batman. He fights in the shadows. He's the Dark Knight.
When he's fighting criminals, you just see them getting pulled into the darkness out of nowhere.
I was like, that is what Batman is. I was like, that is the epitome of what Batman is, and I love it. The animation in that is gorgeous. The Joker looks a little bit kind of weird. I think they made him a little too broad.
To be fair, the Joker was only in part 2. Part 1 was just
in part 1, but in part 2, because I put them together. But the Joker was a little bit kind of like a bit like broad. I thought like the Joker doesn't sort of look like the whole point of the Joker. I think is that he's kind of skinny, but he's strong for how he looks,
right,
or whatever. But then there's that gorgeous scene in the tunnel, and and he puts the thing in his thing, and then the Joker at the end, he actually kills himself just to have one last.
Batman kind of delivered the finishing blow. I think he broke his neck, and the Joker and he had
and he had the batarang in his eye.
That's when the Joker freaked out. Like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. But then there's that bit where it's like he breaks his own neck, and then Batman's just stood there and so on.
Because the Batman's bleeding himself because the Joker stabbed him multiple times.
But that's the point. It's like he's just sat there in the tunnel, and then it's like, mate, the Joker did the one thing to himself that I couldn't do. And I would never do it.
What's that bit where he gets on fire, and then just before Batman leaves, he sees Joker's skeleton in the flames, and he says, "Stop laughing."
Yeah, and that
psychological trauma. Oh,
I mean, that bit for me, that is, it's always stuck with me. That's the bit. That is the bit for me that always stuck with me.
I've always said that film portrays Joker and Batman's relationship better than any other film has.
Goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Absolutely, 100%.
Because again, Joker himself was catatonic until he heard Batman Have Returned.
And he's still got that humour. He still laughs in the worst. Like most people would be, definitely not laughing, but he does. And
on that talk show, do you mind if I keep this mug? Yeah, we got a closet full of them. Thanks. Smash, slash in the throat. Yeah. As long as you won't miss it.
And it's brutal. It's bloody, and it's regardless of what I think about what the Joker sort of was designed as in that animated thing. It was great. It was great. That is my favorite. That's my second favorite Joker, apart from Heath Ledger. But the Batman animated series, I think, definitely needs recognition for just how it's scripted, how the scenes are done, and also how the characters are.
Anyone that says they're a Batman fan but hasn't watched those two films, I'm like, fuck off. Mask of Phantasm, Under the Red Hood, those are all... And again, even the Suicide Squad animated film, they're all good. Assault on Arkham. if you haven't seen The Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2, you don't know. Even the fight with Batman and Superman in that film itself was so good. Frank Miller was the one that created the original comic for it. It's just perfect.
Yeah, it is great. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen of Gotham.
We tried so hard not to make this Joker focused, but we failed miserably.
Well, we did towards the end, and
no one gets that far, so...
Yeah, sadly. So, until next time, stay young, stay gold. You have been listening to...
Laughing on a Prayer.